Also, related to communication breakdown, knowing where evacuation centers are, posting signs is an opportunity. On street signs, for example, there just are not enough signs to get you where you need to go in an emergency event. Also, for example, Con Ed repairs took too long after Sandy, or it took 2 weeks in some cases. And some people got their power restored while others were waiting still. So having a schedule made available to folks would have sort of eased tension, is what we heard. A couple other things. Someone said minimize flooding at Ditmars and Tier Street on City Island as a specific need, and so an opportunity would be to restore the Tier Street wetlands. I thought that was kind of an interesting approach. And also there's a drainage issues along Brush Avenue, so using bioswales. That's a potential opportunity.
What's a bioswale?
Sorry?
What's a bioswale?
A bioswale? It's actually a form of low-impact development. It's a way to, it's sort of a decentralized approach to stormwater management. So instead of like large detention ponds that hold stormwater, it's a bioswale basically runs along the edge of the street and holds stormwater and then filters it down to the groundwater.
Great, thank you very much. So Kevin, why don't you relate what some people saw that happened during Sandy for everyone to hear? Brought the board with me. Something you heard was, there was a strong ego presence in the command center there. We heard that, this different place you got damaged, very trees uprooted. There's a lot of issues with trees in the area. I mean, a lot of dead trees that still exist. Big walk of zinc come through and out. Arden Park, homes are damaged. We're talking about the community center, which is the higher ground of Nash County, used the recovery center after Sandy and those closed. Yeah. And Frog's Neck, one person brought up that there's a police department about a year and a half after Sandy. Possibly, maybe what happened during Sandy, I'm not sure. Did anyone talk about what happened after Sandy, recovery or anything like that? The FEMA, the strong FEMA presence, City Island and also, I don't know how many people got to look at our risk and asset map. A woman came up from a country club community and pointed out some notes about where the community really sits, the real boundaries and all that. That was very helpful. I heard from a couple of other people, so I appreciate folks coming over and giving us comments on the asset maps. We will certainly fix those up and take the points. We have a couple more minutes, so I'd be happy to open up to a couple of questions if people have questions for the audience.
A slight comment. I was thinking how lucky we actually were because of the governor actually making this a superstorm instead of a hurricane. And the reason why is if you look at the insurance policy, there's a deductible for a hurricane deductible, and it's an average of $35,000 every policy, which means that you need $35,000 upfront money before they give you a dime. If this happens again and they don't call it a superstorm,
it's a good point. I think we have to, again, I certainly am not in a position to make any statements about insurance companies, but I think we all have to recognize that with climate change and the severity of just your everyday storm conditions.
Well, they knew this was going to happen well before we did because they blanket just got dropped everybody 6 years ago.
Well, I guess maybe they have been forecasting. That's a good point. Maybe they have been, but certainly, it's something that I think the city of New York and the state of New York is taking very seriously. I think this program illustrates that we recognize that we're going to climate change, and some pretty fundamental changes are going to have to happen. They're not going to happen quickly, but they need to get started, and this is a process of getting them started, so that we have a situation where people do feel.
We can't afford hurricanes.
I do know that we've been walking around the communities, people built back from this last storm that said, I don't think I could do it again, you know, and so if these start happening in some rapidity, you know, I hear what you're saying. I know I live in New York City too. I live in Staten Island. We're all coastal communities, so I think we have to think about this in a much more fundamental way. Before I get to you, man, I apologize. I went to questions before giving the call. I just wanted to announce a few folks that were here tonight.
Right. First, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out, thank all of our committee members, thank the public. I also want to recognize we had several representatives from elected officials, Congressman Crowley's office, Senator Klein's office, Assemblyman Benedetta's office, and Committee Board 10. So I didn't forget anybody, I hope I did not. We can go back to questions. We want to make sure that everybody has their questions answered also, that you leave here with more information about our program and the process than before you came. So back to questions. Yes, in fact.
And just also, I know people can fill out comment cards. Make sure you don't walk out with your comment card. Tanya has to remind you. So Tanya's standing in the back with the box, standing in the back with the box. So as you're walking out, do we have another bunch of blank comment cards? So people need the website. So if you need the website, take another comment card, but leave your comment card. But ma'am, please go ahead.
One of the concerns about evacuation, a number of our communities are locked in, and I don't know if anybody's here from Spencer Estates. So I'll just speak on their behalf if I may. Because Country Club and Spencer Estates are one on top of the other. On the right, we have Eastchester Bay. On the north, we have Pelham Bay Park. On the west, we have I-95. In the event of a big problem, we will be locked in our community, and we will have very little ability to get out. And that is a big concern, because I-95 is back up, and then the service road goes, and then we're stuck.
So that's a critical issue, a very important one, because that's something, obviously, that's something that affects, if people think they're in a community where they cannot evacuate or they cannot get out, that's going to obviously affect their everyday life. So that's a really good point. We've heard that actually in a couple of communities, in different ways in which they have very limited ways to move out of their community, and that in a lot of those situations, the pathway out is often a very low-lying area and can get flooded, so they actually feel like they can be isolated. Yes, sir.
To expand on Arlene's point, the area of 95 that replaces their communities actually goes below grade. It will flood. But 95 plus, not only can Spencer Estates and Country Club get isolated, any traffic coming north on 95, standstill. Little back across Bronx Expressway, standstill. Long Island, their evacuation of trucks and bridge.
That's a very good point. So it's not just your local, it's regional impact through your neighborhood, right? And also the fact that the highway itself is in and of itself a bit of a blockage, but the highway itself is low lying and can be flooded as well.
Right, especially if you look at 95 on a regular weekend, it gets crowded. So forget about it if there's an emergency. Right.
You sir in the back and then you.
During Hurricane Hugo, the Whitestone Bridge was closed down about 10:30 in the morning. At Sandy, I know somebody called the Port Authorities here, the Tappan Zee Bridge, so they didn't know. Is there an agency, or there should be one, that knows what bridge is going to be closed, and at least to give a little warning to people, because to close some of these, you can't get to go where we can go safely.
No, that's an excellent point. One thing that we heard in our first two committee meetings, or the people, one of the things, they didn't know where to evacuate to, but on a larger scale, if you want to get out of the area, where do you get the information? I know there are information portals. We clearly have technology to do this. I think everyone was surprised by the magnitude of Sandy, and I think I don't think people were prepared for it. And so therefore, there wasn't good knowledge about what to do, where to go, what was closed and what wasn't. And I think your point's an excellent one, that you need that kind of information Because you know, especially here in the Bronx, you have a lot of choices of which direction you might want to go, or a need to go somewhere, and you don't want to get on the road and then find where you want to go is not available to you. And so that's an excellent point. Did you look at MTA.info, and was there no information from the
No,
MTA on that?
the 92 no-name storm, after that storm, then we were going to be told that, yeah, we're going to be ready, because they weren't ready then. And when Sandy came,
They were not ready.
still
I
didn't know.
think it's about communication between agencies. I think Sandy probably taught agencies a lot of different lessons about how OEM communicates with MTA and Virgin Tunnel and how they get that information out. Because right, if you're in the city, that's fine, but if you're trying to see the Tappan Zee, you don't know unless you call 511 if you're on the highway. Right, well, I didn't say that was the best idea, but that's what your directors do often. So that's the challenge, is this idea of coordinating and getting information out. That's the number one thing I think we've heard throughout community work, is that people don't know where to get information, or information's conflicting, and how do you know what's the right information. And so that's a large part of what we've been talking about. Hang on one back.
This lady here in her hand up, and then that gentleman back.
With low tide, the Hutchinson River Parkway was flooded